All right, what is good, ladies and gentlemen, is the Mass Reviewer back again with another review, and today we're doing a review for Home. This is in preparation for a viewer recommendation, and it is a rewatch for me. And going into it, I remember I like this film, but I can gladly say that it is a lot better on rewatch, I think. And so yeah, let us just begin, starting off with the plot. So the plot of the film is that there is this race of aliens, the Boov, that are on the run from this other race of aliens, the Gorg. I'll just spoiler alert, by the way, for this entire film. You find this out at the end, but basically there is only one Gorg alien actually left, and the whole film he is just trying to retrieve a rock that's the leader of the Boov, Smek, ended up stealing from him during peace talks that happened a while ago. So that is the reason that the Gorg is chasing after the Boov. So the Boov, they are notorious for just running away and giving up, basically. So they end up, the movie starts with the Boov making Earth their next planet to inhabit as they hide from the Gorg, basically. So that ends up happening. So the Earth is just completely taken over by the Boov. Apparently, just the military does not exist because there was no war or anything. They just very peacefully relocate all the humans to Australia, and the Boov move in, basically. And the film is about, you have okay, so there's basically two main characters. One, Tip. She's a girl. She got separated by her mom. She didn't end up getting relocated with the rest of the humans because her pet cat, Pig, that's his name, was on top of her head during when the Boov arrived, so they didn't recognize her as being human, so they didn't take her. So she is alone, and her goal is to get to her mom, just find where her mom is, basically. And then the other main character, O, he is this Boov alien who does not fit in. He ends up making a lot of mistakes. No one really likes him. He got his name O because anytime he shows up, everyone just always moans. They say O basically in a very depressing way, basically, to signal that he's arrived, basically. So anyway, O throws a welcoming party for all of his neighbors now that they have new apartments and stuff, and no one ends up showing up. And so he goes to his best friend Kyle, even though Kyle is a police officer. He doesn't really consider O to be his friend. And so O ends up sending an invitation to Kyle, but then he accidentally sends an invitation to the entire galaxy, which I don't really know why that would be a feature, but yeah, he sends an invitation to his party to the entire galaxy, and for some reason, him sending this invitation, he was planning to send it to Kyle. He included the fact that, you go to the Milky Way, you turn left at the Big Dipper or something like that, third planet from the sun. It's you were about to send this to Kyle, who is literally on the same planet as you. In fact, he's less than probably a kilometer away from you, so I don't know why he had to include Galatary, is that the word? I'm not sure if that's the right word. It sounds like the right word. Galatary. That might not be the right word. Interstellar instructions for how to get to Earth, even because you're on the same planet. But anyway, he sends it to the entire galaxy, and so now there is a fear that there's a clock ticking, basically creating pressure, where in 48 hours the message will be received by the Gorg and the Boov location will be revealed. So the film is basically O ends up meeting Tip at a gas station, and they end up making a deal where basically O helps Tip reach her mother. And in return, O gets to go along with Tip, and he doesn't get captured by the Boov, basically. So, yeah, that's the film, and there is bonding along the way. Eventually, they have to make it to Paris in order to, number one, cancel the invitation to the entire galaxy, as well as find the exact location of Tip's mother. And yeah, so just that happens, and then there's a lot of hijinks that happens along the way. And eventually they do make it, they find out that Tip's mom is in Australia, so they end up going to Australia, where, but at this point the Gorg still managed to find where the Boov are on Earth, because it's revealed later on that they're not actually tracking, they found the way not from the invitation because that got canceled already, but they were tracking the rock that Smek ended up stealing. And yeah, so the rock, I don't remember if I mentioned this earlier, but the rock itself has all of the future generations of Gorg. There's one last Gorg alien, but then in the rock itself is the future generations of the Gorg species. So it's very important that the Gorg alien gets it back. And so yeah, all the Boov, they are running away because of the fact that the Gorg are now returning. And yeah, I forgot to mention earlier, at some point I think Tip and O, they crash landed. They investigated a drone of one of the Gorg ships, and they realized at first they thought that there might be a pilot there, but then they realized it was a drone. They managed to get this super chip that is extremely powerful and can power a lot of stuff. And so O saves the Boov from getting destroyed by the Gorg by using the super chip in order to help them get away. and then he basically proves himself to be a leader and stuff. Smek ends up, Kyle steps up for O and protects him when Smek is about to smack him with the shusher. Basically, that's what they call the rock. So, yeah. So now O becomes the new leader, and he ends up going back to Earth. There was like a really great scene where O had to decide whether or not he was going to stay on Earth to help Tip out, or if he was just going to run away from the Gorg. But eventually, he does end up coming back to Earth to right his mistake, because he does initially end up choosing to leave. So yeah, now the final sequence is that the Gorg have made it to Earth. They are about to start destroying the planet, but O like runs up to the giant. He runs towards the danger, which is like the entire film. All the Boov have like ran away from danger. That's like their whole philosophy, basically. So O runs towards the danger. Tip helps out by distracting the Gorg piloting the spaceship, and then signaling to him that O is down there so that he would notice him. Then the Gorg stops the ship. Oh, I think initially he like gets crushed, but he got crushed by a thing that it was like a part of the ship that was hollow, so he ended up still being alive. And so yeah, he survives, and then O returns the rock to Gorg, and yeah, now all's well that ends well. I think the Boov, they kind of stay on Earth. They coexist now with the humans. I think some of the Boov are living on the moon. There's like, and the film ends with O throwing another big welcome party, and he invites the entire galaxy this time, just all the aliens that there are. So yeah, that is the plot of the film. I would give the plot, I would say, a 4 to 5. I liked it. I think that it was it was good. I enjoyed it, like this plot of these two, human and alien, teaming up for their own purposes, and then them bonding along the way, learning the true meaning of, like, I don't know, family and loved ones and bravery and stuff like that. I think overall it was I like the plot. I would give it a 4 to 5. In terms of the characters, not too many. I think that O is very funny as one of the lead characters. I think that he has a good chemistry with Tip. I think that's Lucy Tucci, Tip's mother. She's like a good, she's like a plot device. She's not really a character herself. I think maybe has a few lines here or there, but not really. Yeah, she's fine, I would say. Smek is entertaining, I would say. So is Kyle. The other Boov aliens they're fine, but they're not like actual characters. It's pretty much just Smek and Kyle, who they have some good entertaining lines, I would say. The Gorg himself poses a good threat, I would say. It's pretty obvious, like, even if you haven't watched the film, it's like kind of obvious. It's like you think like, okay, yeah, Smek, he ended up stealing the space rock, so this is probably the reason that the Gorg are after the Boov, I would say. So it's like, even if I did see this, it's like I feel like even if I didn't see it, I'd be like, oh, okay, I see. You can see the twist coming that like the Gorg are not trying to kill the Boov, they're just trying to get the rock back. So yeah, overall the character, so again, not too many characters. There's Pig, the cat that is Tips, and I would say the characters are pretty good. I'll say 7 out of 10. I did like I think that's just Tip and O. They are strong lead characters. Besides them, there's again not really a lot of other characters. I think, what is it? Tip, O, Gorg, Smek, Kyle, Tip's mother. That's it. That's like 6 characters in total in the film, and then again some like background move here or there. In terms of the settings, let's see here. What do you have? You have, I'm not sure. I think it takes place in Chicago, because I do remember that the DreamWorks television series on Netflix of Home, like Home got pretty much every DreamWorks film ends up getting a series at some point. So I think they mentioned in that series that it takes place, that they live in Chicago. So I'm pretty sure the start of it takes place in Chicago. They go to Paris at one point. They go to Australia. I think it all looks very good, I would say. I do even like when they're flying in the Slushius, which is the car that is Tips that O modded out to be able to fly and stuff. I think the settings, I would say, I like the settings. I would give them probably a 7.5. I would say very good settings, and yeah, very, very good settings. In terms of the visuals, this is 2015. The art style, it's not one of the best, but I do think it works in terms of the Boov themselves. The humans look a bit off, I would say, but even so, the actual visuals of the technology of the Boov, I think it looks very cool. There's like a really cool shot of the Gorg spaceship like going through the Saturn rings, which I think is also very nice. And so this film definitely has some great visuals, I would say. So I'm going to give it probably an 8 out of 10 for the visuals, I would say. Yeah, definitely a very visually satisfying film, I would say. In terms of the comedy I'm going to say was pretty good. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. There were definitely some moments that had me laughing out loud. And yeah, definitely there are some good entertainment. The Boov are pretty funny, I would say. So 7 out of 10 for the comedy. In terms of the worst thing, I don't really have a worst thing in mind, to be honest. So I think I am just going to, nothing, trying to think of maybe anything comes to mind. And yeah, nothing really comes to mind, I would say. So I'm just going to reuse the worst score, which was both the comedy and the comedy and the characters, which I gave a 7 out of 10. But honestly, that's a pretty good low score to have. So in terms of the best thing I would say definitely the emotional moments. There was like a lot of good emotional moments. I actually got tear-eyed in certain cases. The scene where O had to choose whether or not he was going to run away with the rest of the booth or stay to help Tip out. I think that was great. The actual reunion scene between Tip and her mother. Just this film does the emotions really well, I would say. I'm going to give it probably like, I'm thinking between an 8.5 to a 9, like between amazing and incredible. I'm going to be a bit harsh. I'm just going to call it amazing. I would say 8.5 for the emotional aspects of this film because, yeah, the film was definitely had some good emotions. And let's hear any extra notes. Yeah, I mentioned already, like, there's no military at all that tried to stop the Boo from invading, so that just seems unrealistic, but, you know, it's not meant to be realistic. I did like the setup where it's like basically the whole conflict just arises from trying to invite Kyle, and then he accidentally just sends a message out to the entire universe, and that's just like, that's how the whole conflict of the film arises. It feels like a very, like, just out of nowhere. It's like, okay, we all of a sudden now we have a conflict now. So I don't know if you could say it's probably like a bit of a lazy setup. They just accidentally sent a message to the entire galaxy. Like, number one, I mean, his character is portrayed as like making mistakes, so it makes sense for his character. But I guess having a button that just sends messages to the entire galaxy is not the smartest thing, I guess. But I kind of like that setup, to be honest. The music is great. The actual character of Tip is voiced by Rihanna, and so this entire film is filled with Rihanna music. And I would say I'm a Rihanna fan. I'm like not like a hardcore Rihanna fan, but I definitely enjoy her tracks. And yeah, the music in this film was definitely a lot of bangers in there, so did like the music a lot. In terms of what else do we have here? Let's see here. Anything that I did not already mention? No, I think I already mentioned. Yeah, I wrote down as well that I mentioned that I like the scene of like having to. I think it's honestly probably the best scene in the film where O has to decide whether or not he gets angry at Tip. It's like he's saying like, I'm trying to be a good friend here. I'm trying to save you. It's like, what, like I'm not. I think he says like, I'm lying to you for the right reasons in order to save you. It's like he genuinely doesn't understand like what he's doing wrong here, and I think that is also like a great aspect of the film where genuinely is just like he's ignorant towards like human concepts and stuff. So the fact that like there's a lot of situations where it's like thinks that he's the one in the right, or he's not understanding like very basic human concepts, and I think that it is done pretty well, I would say. So yeah, that is all of the scores. So and the extra notes. So I'm going to do the calculations. So King Crimson. All right, so it ends up coming out to about a 7.5, which would be very good, and I think I'd probably give it like between a 7.5 to an 8. I would say I thought it was between very good and great. I think I'm just going to be a bit harsh with it. I'm going to give it the baseline score. Yeah, I'm going to call it a 7.5. I thought that this was a very good film, and I think I went into it like I liked it when I was younger, but I didn't remember how much I liked it. But yeah, definitely this is a very good film. I would say maybe if I let it marinate, it would get a bit higher, but for now, I'm just going to call it a 7.5. Very good. And yeah, that is pretty much all there is to it. So if you have any recommendations, any shows, movies, video game stories, anime, manga, web series, anything that you want me to review, leave it in the comments and I will maybe possibly check it out. With that said, that is pretty much all there is to it. So let's leave it at that.